How you going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be back on the Mini rebuild series. I'm going to get the panels painted, let everything dry off, and then get the car rebuilt. Let's go. This is always the part that takes the longest. I mean, I could be a part changer. I mean, if I was doing this for a business and I was just trying to get the cars turned around quickly and selling them on, I would have just bought all the parts and painted it all and then just sent the car on its way. But as I say, I'm just trying to show you as well that if you don't have a lot of money, you've got a bit of patience, you can pretty much just mess around with this, take as long as you like, and eventually you'll get it perfect for a fraction of the cost. I've managed to sand down the body panel off camera just to get rid of the droplets of water, of sweat. So what I've done is I've just went over everything with 1200, and that's get rid of all the little fine scratches and also, as I said, the little sweat particles. So that's ready to be painted now. The bonnet or the hood, I've obviously gave that a couple of coats here now. So what I'm going to do is get the headlights taped up and put some tape all around the edges here, and then I'll get the top side of the bonnet painted now. Same again, I've went over this with 1200, so I'm going to give it 2 or 3 coats now of the red base coat, and then it'll be ready for the clear coat. Well, I'm going to have to improvise to try and cut down the sweat. I'll put that over my wrist like so, put that over my head, put that in my head, and then hopefully that should stop the water droplets going onto the paintwork. This paint is a 1:1 ratio, so you can see here it says 1:1. So what I'll do is I'll fill it up to 5. And then what I'll do is I'll then fill it up to 5 again here. And then that's me getting my 1:1 ratio. So pretty much it's quite self-explanatory. It's a 1:1 ratio. The application should be 2 or 3 medium wet coats, 50% overlap. And then we'll allow each coat 5 to 10 minutes to flash off. That's obviously probably at 20 degrees. Oh yeah, here it's here. Air dry at 20 degrees, flash between coats 5 to 10 minutes. It's about 30 degrees in here today, so maybe 2 or 3 minutes it should flash off. And then prior to putting on the first coat of clear, we need to wait 15 to 20 minutes. So we should be safe about 15 minutes. That's me now put on 2 coats of the base of the chili red. And the wing, the guard there, is looking quite good. So I've got a couple of fish eyes here. So a bit of dust, some sort of contaminant must have got onto the bumper. So I'll need to sort that out and then touch that up before I put on the clear coat. But overall, the rest of it, the bumper's good apart from that little spot there. One of the problems I'm up against at the moment, as I said, is I don't have a proper spray booth and I'm pretty much just pissing against the wind here. Try to stop contaminants landing on the panels. I've also noticed that now that I've got my regulator on the spray gun, I've also noticed that the pressure's dropping right down to about 20 psi while I'm spray painting. I need a minimum of around 30 psi, and I think that's why obviously I'm getting spots that are perfect and then spots with orange peel. So obviously I'll need to look into getting a better compressor, one that's able to give me more air. And when I do the next project, I'm definitely going to have to frame this area out and then get some solid plastic paneling, some proper ventilation, and then take it from there. As I say, I just need to do what I can with what I've got at the moment. So it's obviously taken me longer to try and produce a good job, but I mean, it's all practice at the end of the day, so it's all good. Just got to keep practicing, keep trying, and keep soldiering on. I mean, if anybody comes in here, they would probably think I was Hannibal Lecter and I was ready to chop up bodies, you know, feed them to the dogs. And this is not obviously sealed, so there's a lot of wind in this area. And anytime the wind blows, there's obviously little holes and there's little particles of dust coming in, which is obviously giving me the fish eyes. Another fisheye here as well on the door. And here I've actually got a halo where I had some of that 1K primer. What I'm going to do is just feather some 3 or 4 light coats over these problematic areas, and then it'll come back as good as new before I do another base coat. And the same again with this fisheye on the bumper. So the method I'm using here is just very light dust coats, and all I'm doing is going over the fish eyes and the imperfections at different angles. So coming from the left to the right, up and down, all around, 3 or 4 light coats, mist coats, and then that way the fish eyes will eventually fill up prior to a nice wet coat. And on the halo effect here that I've got on the bonnet, same again, I'm going to do 3 or 4 light mist coats, all at different angles, all around it, just to try and blend it in so all the paint matches. And if you look at the pressure gauge on the gun there, you can see it's dropping right down to about 0 psi. It wasn't until I was starting this job that I realised I was losing so much air pressure. I've just stuck this bonnet scoop onto the bonnet. Now obviously it doesn't have its top coat, its clear coat on it yet, but just looking at the colour match there, it seems to be okay. So hopefully I don't need to blend any of the panels into each other. I mean, that looks a pretty good match if you ask me. And the issue I've got today is it's very windy and there's just dust blowing around everywhere. As I say, I'm going to have to get this done properly because this is holding me up now. I really get on with this job, get on with this car and get it finished. The last thing I want to do now is put on the clear coat, which is very sticky, and with all this dust flying around, I'm going to end up with loads of trash in the paintwork, and I'm going to end up spending hours trying to buff it all out. So in order to avoid that, I'll just wait until the wind settles down, hopefully in the next couple of days, and then we'll start again. Another thing you've got to take into consideration is sometimes when you're ordering parts online from eBay or whatever, you have to check the descriptions very carefully, because a lot of these companies they'll just try and stitch you up. So I bought this headlight from eBay, and I needed the headlight because I wanted to take the black insert and all that out of this headlight, put it in here, because this is all broken and what have you, and the tag's broken, and also where it connects for the washer pump is broken. And then lo and behold, they send me this headlight here, this replacement headlight, and it's broken in the exact same place here, and the tag is completely missing. Pretty much, yeah, I've said to the guy, well, what am I meant to do with this, because obviously this car has to go over a pit and be inspected. And he's pretty much saying, oh yeah, well that was in the photos, everything was shown in the photos, but as I say, yeah, there's a lot of numpties out there. And as you can see here, I've decided to upgrade and get these new V-Land headlights. Headlights are actually going to look pretty cool on the car. It's going to give it a kind of updated feel. And they actually look quite well made. So the electrical connection seems to be the same, apart from this small one there. So I need to have a read at the instructions, and you can't change the globe on these ones because they're LED. For the most part, seems to be in the right position. What I'll need to do there is obviously put the washer pump, the headlight washer pump, which fits in there. So I've got one here, but this is broken off here, so what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to get a fitting on there, heat that up, and then try and put the fitting in there and then plastic weld it. Failing that, if that doesn't work, then I'll need to replace this. And that was the tab that was broken here on the original damaged headlight. Let's see, it looks pretty cool. I think that'll look pretty cool when that's all lit up compared to the old one, even though the old ones look cool as well, but yeah, looks nice. I've gave the wing, the guard here, a couple of wet coats of the clear coat, and it's actually turned out not too bad considering the issues I've been having with the spray gun, with the pressure. So yeah, this has actually turned out quite well. If you can see, good reflection there. There's not too much orange peel. So that's actually perfect. I don't need to do anything with that. All I need to do now is offer this up to the car, and hopefully I don't need to blend in any of the rest of the panels. The front bumper, again, has turned out really well here. A couple of bits of trash in that as expected, but if you look here, I don't know if the camera's picking that up there, but I've got a run there. I got a bit overzealous there. Same here. So I've got 2 runs there. So I'll probably need to let this all harden a couple of days, and then I'll decide whether just to sand it right down and then just go over it again, or just try and put some body filler on it and sand it down. I'll just have a think about that, what I'm going to do. But yeah, everywhere else looks good, as I say. A good reflection there. And then once I get that sorted, I'll get these. I'll get the bonnet and the door done. I just wanted to see how these turned out first. As I say, before I start putting the clear coat on these panels here, I want to just put the wing here, the fender, onto the car just to make sure the colour match is good before I waste any more of my time. But as I've already said, I'll just reiterate the amount of time that I'm wasting here. Even the lighting, everything's just crap in here, you know. I've got crap ventilation, poor lighting, I've got dust everywhere, I've got the wind blowing, the heat is just unbelievable. But as I say, it's just a case of just got to make do with what I've got at the moment. It's just pretty much 1 step forward, 2 steps back, but just got to keep persevering. I'm so annoyed about that. I actually thought I'd got this panel perfect, and then I came back a couple of minutes later and saw the runs there. But I mean, that's only because I'm putting the spray gun far too close to the panel, because I'm struggling with my air pressure. I don't know, I might actually just revert to a smaller gun, use a 0.8mm tip, put a small gun on rather than that one that I've got there, and see if that'll help. I mean, I can quite clearly tell the difference with that Devil Disc gun. It really does leave a good job. So my next investment definitely needs to be a bigger compressor. Just to be safe, I'm going to replace the original damaged hinge.
Now just before I put this this old bolt that I've painted, before I put these bolts on, usually what happens is when you put them on, you actually mark these. So another little tip is you get a glove, and what you do is you put the bolt inside the glove, like so, and then you screw it on, and then you won't get any marks on it. All I'm going to do is just line up all the holes on the wing first, and then leave everything loose until obviously I put the door, the front bumper and the bonnet, because I'll need to move things around to get it all lined up. So I'll just put it like that over the socket.
I'm just making some final adjustments and then just tightening everything up. And now I'll fit the side repeater. All I wanted to do there was just put the front wing onto the car, just to see how it looks, if it's matching the inner wing, the colours there, and the quarter panel, and everything looks good so far. So I'll continue on with the rest of the paintwork. Some turbo glaze. Make sure we need it all. And as I said, you've got to make sure that your top coat, your clear coat, is hardened for a few days. Because if it's too soft, the chemicals in this might actually penetrate your clear coat. I'm only going to need a little bit like so. A minuscule bit of hardener. I'll just give it a good mix. Fold it over until the colour becomes uniform. Now I've put a little bit more hardener in this because I want this to harden quite quickly. Now there's quite a few lumps and bumps here. What I'll do now is I'll let that harden for about 30 minutes, and then I'll start off with the sandpaper. There you go, that's how easy it is. All you need is a little bit of patience. Just persevere, and then you'll get rid of the runs,
and you'll also get rid of the orange peel if you've got any, and leave a half decent job. We've came a long way, guys. If you can remember what this bumper was like only a few months ago, and now if you look at it, you would never know that this has been in an accident. So as I say, anything's possible if you put your mind to it. This is the original bumper insert. I didn't want to paint this because it looked in pretty reasonable condition. There's a few marks here and there, but I mean, to save paint, time and labour, and all the hassle painting, I just thought I'll give it a go and I'll just buff out these little marks here and just buff along the sides here where it's going to blend into the new bumper there. What I'm going to do with this is use some of this juice cut compound. So I've just got to line up all these clips first of all, before I should push them in. I'm just going to put the car back on the ramp, get it up in the air, and then I'll get the front bumper fitted. I need to weld this, plastic weld this. I never noticed that before, otherwise I would have fixed it. So I'll get that welded up. And I just need to find the pin for that. I don't know where that's went to. It's just a rubber grommet, right? I'll have a look and see if I can find that. Here's some I prepared earlier. Right, that'll do it. As you can see there, that's the bumper and the front wing being put back onto the car. Everything so far seems to be lining up. So I'm going to continue on now. There was a couple of things on the door that I wasn't entirely happy about.
I know obviously I'm going round in circles here, but my OCD and perfectionism just seems to be taking over at the moment. So this is the final stage now, just got to block it out, final block it out. I'm going to do that with a flat piece of wood, just to get everything totally flat and straight. And then I'll get the panel painted. It's a lot cooler in here today. While it's cool and with not too much wind, I've got to get these panels, these final 2 panels painted today. Let's go. I'm interested to see how this new compressor holds up. Well, I've ended up with a couple of reactions from the old base coat and the new base coat. So pretty much I had to do 3 or 4 light dust coats again, and then it was ready for the clear coat. Yeah, I had a bit of trouble again with that spray gun. Wasn't atomising properly. No matter how many times I've cleaned it out, it still keeps breaking up the spray pattern as I'm trying to spray, which is obviously give me some dry spots, so I'm having to like go over everything. Rather than just doing a straight run with 50% overlap, I'm having to like double back on myself. It's turned out not too bad considering the struggles I was having. I've got a couple of little runs as expected. That's obviously just practice. The more I do it, the better I'll get at it. So that's all good. And I've painted these are the pump, headlight washer pump covers. That's the bottom of the grille at the front grille there, that's the bottom lip there. Good shine there. That's the grille lip, sorry, that's the bonnet, the hood lip there. And then that's the rear stop lights. That's the little trim rings. So I'd pretty much just done them with spray cans, but I wanted to give them a little bit of extra protection, so I just put the 2K clear coat over the top. And as you can see, they've turned out well as well. So what I'll do now is I'll let these body panels dry for the next couple of days, and then I'll get them out into the sunlight, and then I'll check for imperfections and then get them dealt with accordingly. What I'm doing here is I'm just taking off any parts that I can use from the original bonnet. So the washer pump, hoses and all the clips and what have you, they were able to be swapped back over to the new bonnet. I've just noticed a problem on this this heat shield that goes onto this replacement bonnet, second-hand bonnet that I've got. none of the mounting holes line up. This bonnet doesn't actually have the holes in it anywhere at all, which is a bit of a pain. So I'm probably going to have to get some black self-tapping screws and then just self-tap all of these holes into the panel. I'm going to try and fit this door now. Hopefully I can get it on without too much trouble. Right, fully open. The door needs to be fully open. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just taking a measurement of the gaps in the body panels. So they're around 3.5 to 4 mil. So, to mil down, 3.5, go to the indicator, 3.5, really tight there. That's about like that's like 2.5 there, instead of 3. So this bit here needs to move across. And that's what, 3.5, nearly 4. So I'll just need to move the top part of the wing, the guard here, across that way. So I've managed to pull that gap across here, so it's even. It's getting a bit bigger down the bottom here, but I'll just tighten up the top first. Then I'll pull that out from the inside and then push it down at the bottom. So I've got to bring it out at the bottom and then in the way, sorry, out at the middle and then in at the bottom. I've installed the lock mechanism here and the handle. So all I need to do now, door pin, and then I can try and get the door glass back in. I had to call in the supervisor for some help. What I might do is I'll just move the window regulator up slightly, just so that the bolts for the windscreen, for the side glass there, lines up. It's centralised with this hole here. It'll make it a lot easier. You can see that in there. So I've got to try and get these holes line up with the bolts, the torque bolts that are inside there. I just need to make sure now that this lock mechanism is going to work. So that's me simulating that the door's been shut. Now I'm going to pull the handle. It opens. Now I'm going to pull the internal handle. It opens, okay? The last thing you want to do is shut the door and then you can't get it open again. What I'm going to do now is put the power back onto the battery and put the window up and see how it is for alignment. Now this is going to be the moment of truth. Hopefully the window goes up without any problems. See, that's been scraping there before, that's why that's marked there. Oh. Well, I can't get the door to shut, so I'm going to have to try and adjust this glass first in case it's something to do with that. The glass is kind of sticking out there. We've got a gap here on the other side prior to the window going up. There's like a 10mm gap there on the rubber. And then if you look here, that's in line. The glass isn't sticking out, so that's probably the problem. So I need to drop this about, what's that, 10mm? I've just put a bit of tape there, roughly about 10mm. And then when I drop the window, I'll be able to see that that drops down to the desired spot. I'll need to drop the windscreen down until the holes line up with the bolts. I also realised that the rubber seal at the top right hand side of the door frame there wasn't on properly, and that's why the window glass was vibrating so much, but it's all fixed now. The door would be down, so I won't be able to see the tape. Well, I couldn't get the door to shut, and what it actually was the pin here. That obviously goes into the mechanism, the lock, and it just wasn't in the right position. Once I messed around with the internal handle there and pulled and pushed on that, I managed to get the door to shut. And as you can see, the window goes up now as well. It's perfectly lined up. So that has took a little bit of time there. So that took an extra half an hour there for me to try and, 45 minutes maybe, for me to try and figure out what was wrong there. I was starting to think that the lock mechanism was damaged, but luckily I've got it fixed now. I think I've got the window there in pretty much the right position. So what I'll do now is I'll shut the rooftop and see if everything lines up. As I say, this is a manual roof, which was quite surprising. I automatically thought all convertibles were electronic roofs. And what I'll do is I'll just compare it to the other side. So I'll just come in here. I think the real proof will be when I actually pressure wash this. That'll be the real proof of the pudding. So pretty much the glass just sort of sits in this lip here. So there's not really much stopping it from leaking when you think about it. I think that'll do. That'll do me for now. Doesn't that look lovely? Right, the next stage is now I need to try and get this bonnet, this hood lined up. I've obviously had to change the hinge at that side, just in case there was any damage on it. So I think what I'm going to have to do, because I've tried to put the bonnet down and it seems to be that side's a little bit low. So I'm going to have to raise the hinge up slightly and then try and sort of line everything up. These cars are quite hard to line up. As I said, the bonnet there is actually like, it's got a wing on it, if you know what I mean. It's a bonnet and a wing. It's like the full thing. So you've got to line it up with the wing, you've got to line it up with the bumper, and obviously the headlights. But hopefully I don't need to line up this this front left wing here again, because I've sort of tightened everything up, and I'm hoping that I don't need to move that around again. Let's see if the bonnet lines up. And that hinge needs to come up. I'm going to loosen these hinges here slightly. What I'll do is I'll just move it up. Just got to keep persevering here. Try to get this bonnet to line up.
Years later.
Right, another thing you want to make sure, if you've had the front end off your car, is you've got to make sure that the bonnet latches, which we've got here and here, you've got to make sure that they open. I'm manually closing both the hinges here using a pick, and then I'll go inside the vehicle and pop them open using the pull cord. So that's them both locked in. Excellent. What I'll do now is I'll just put the pins back in on the bonnet. They turn in 13 times, so that's what I counted, but what I'll do is I'll maybe put them about 14 just to see for the first time. I've also put these bump stops all the way down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What I'll do now is I'll drop the bonnet. I've just put some tape over the bumper there. There is a good chance that I'm going to have to realign the bumper, maybe lift it up or left or right. We'll see how everything lines up now. Once the bonnet shuts, and then obviously I can get it back open again. I think I've got the bonnet roughly where I want it. So what I'm going to do now is just try and line up the bumper here. And then, as I say, I might need to go around everything again at the end and just double check. It really is a pain trying to line this up. So all I'm trying to do here is get like a 3.5 to 4 mil gap. Just need to put a couple of screws in now.
Once I get all this buffed up, you'll never know that this wasn't a crash.
And that's it, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Take care.